Jafffa Adventures. Terry and Jill here with a little bit different look. Pretty soon we're going to be hitting the water. You want to find out why? Stick around. We now find ourselves at the Dark Sky Festival drone show after the amazing spectacle that was the total solar eclipse. If you have not watched that special moving video, go back and check it out. It was awe-inspiring. I'm sure I will likely muck this story up, but as far as I can interpret, this big jellyfish type dude is an ancestor spirit telling this particular story. In it, the moon and the sun met for the first time and made love, represented by the total solar eclipse. Their offspring were the stars, which fell to Earth and created the whale sharks. That is a great segue into this video because one of the activities on our agenda is diving with the whale sharks. Let's join Terry and Jill the following morning immediately after the eclipse. It's the day after the eclipse and we are going to spend a few more days in Exmouth, and we're just going for a little bit of a road trip at the moment around the surrounds. And in front of us are the communication towers for the Harold E. Holt Communication Center. This communication station is for the Navy. It's the tallest one of these towers, is 384 meters high. That's what it looks like. Part of the American missile delivery system was their fleet of nuclear-powered and armed subs, but the U.S. Navy had a problem, a giant gap in their comms network. The array of skyscraper towers in front of us are the results of an effort to plug this gap.
Oh, and we just met a YouTube follower named Mike.
Yes, we did indeed. Mike was in the Prado going to a boat ramp. We gave him a bit of merch. We said g'day, and Mike provided us with a couple of camping spots along the Coral Bay coast. So thanks for that, Mike. Really looking forward to checking those out.
Yeah, and Mike, sorry, Jill was a bonehead and only took a photo and not video. When we met you, I wanted to video your conversation, but I screwed up.
Shit happens. I'm sure Mike will forgive you. I certainly do. A bit more of that communication stuff, and they have a triangulated base, not a flared out base like you might expect, and I suspect that's so that when the high winds it actually pivots on the bottom there a bit. We're heading into Charles Knife Canyon at the moment. This was one of the places I wanted to get into to observe the eclipse, but this road was all blocked off. Eclipse is over, roadblock's gone, we're in. Road closed ahead.
Go!
Road closed.
Go!
Blacking.
Oh, wow.
This is pretty cool. It's a decent sized gorge. Something a lot larger than I was expecting. We can't go any further. They've got the road blocked here, which is at the car park at the Charles Knife. But we got to here anyway, so that's something. Learmont Airport is there, and the coast running along there. We're reasonably elevated here. Well, we are now heading down the Charles Knife Road. And I talked to the Parks and Wildlife guys up there that have the road blocked. And it was blocked down at the road yesterday for the solar eclipse, obviously. And now they've blocked it up here today because the road's washed out. And they don't trust the caravans doing 6 or 8 point turns trying to get turned around because apparently it's pretty squishy up there. I think we'll go into town and take Jill to her secondhand bookstore.
Ooh, we took you to the camping store.
Yeah. There's the viewing areas directly in front of us. That's where we were yesterday for the eclipse.
It is. That ocean is like glass.
It is calm as anything, that's for sure.
I hope it's like that tomorrow when we go out dive with the whale sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ter, what have you got?
Well, it looks like a moth to me, and I thought that maybe it was like a moth that's just come out of its pupa and that the wings haven't, pumped full of blood and folded out yet, but I don't know. I'm having my doubts now. I really don't know what he is.
I had one on my leg the other day.
You did?
And he just feels like a gummy snake or a gummy worm or something.
But if it wasn't for the wings, the lack of wings, it does look exactly like a moth. It's got moth legs, moth body.
And he's just crawling around on the ground.
Yeah.
I think the wings are getting bigger as they're drying. Terry's holding it and so it can dry its wings. We'll stay tuned if we have an update.
Here's our friend, and it's definitely a moth. Those wings are much larger than they were 5 minutes ago, so it's pumping blood into them and they're growing.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Gonna be a chunky moth.
It's just a chunky little sucker.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can hear the music at the Oval in town.
It's a boy and he does have a little bit of mange, so mange actually get from the domestic dogs.
What are we doing here, huh?
We're going on a whale shark.
Going on a whale shark.
Waiting for our turn to get in the tender to go out to the boat right there.
Okay, cool. And I think for the day they said snorkel in the morning, then whale shark around lunchish, and then afternoon snorkel.
Hello.
2 blue, 1 yellow.
There's the captain one.
Thank you.
Whoa!
No worries.
That looks all right, Jill.
All right. Service with a smile.
We have now left Exmouth, which was an awesome experience there, and are heading along the Ningaloo coastline back down south. This one here is Jill's favorite sign. Well, you can actually see the wreck of the SS Mildura out there, but we're looking directly into the sun, so it is a bugger. The SS Mildura was carrying 500 cattle. Around 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday the 12th of March 1907, she encountered a heavy haze, slewed off course while traveling at full speed, and ran aground. Dope! A rescue boat arrived on Monday the 18th, and by early afternoon all remaining passengers and crew and anything of value that was easily moved had been taken off. Now the question was, what do we do with the cattle? Heaps had croaked already because their water tanks were damaged, so the rest were herded overboard. Most of them were too weak and thought to have drowned. And because of all that, they put up a lighthouse on the tip here at Exmouth.
Lots of birds keep flying by. Budgerigars. It's the coolest thing. But corellas have gone by and galahs have gone by. And I just got buzzed by a drone.
We are traveling up the hill to the Vlaming Head Lighthouse. And this lighthouse was constructed Well, the catalyst for the construction of this lighthouse was the Mildura wreck, which we just visited. Still bitumen, haven't hit any dirt or any sand yet, but we will definitely hit some later today.
Pretty birds.
Yeah, there's these flocks of budgies flying everywhere. And here is our lighthouse.
Wow, what a view.
Wow. Here we are, the lighthouse. Completed in 1912, only a couple of short years after the Mildura went down. Jump in those bushes, Jill.
I know some of them.
There is the Ningaloo Coast, and you can see where those waves are breaking. That's the barrier reef. And we were out on the outside of that barrier reef yesterday, chasing down those whale sharks. This is the old base of the radar that was operational until February 45 when a cyclone took it out. But this radar was first defense warning for the naval base, the American naval base at Exmouth. These are all sandbags that were used to protect this radar base. And these are original from 1945. It is very cool. We are on our way into Turquoise Bay to check it out and have a look. It's bitumen all the way back here, down by the bay.
Where the watermelons grow, back to my home. I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a moose with his front tooth loose? Down by the bay, down by the bay. It's just birds everywhere. I don't know if they're migrating, feeding, or what. We're at North Mandu Campground.
Pretty big grains of sand, aren't they? All right. These rocky little ranges here on the left-hand side. They're not super tall, maybe only about 20 meters, 30 meters. They've got character.
Yeah, Cape Range National Park is lovely.
Great snorkeling.
Beaches.
Beaches, campsites all along the beaches. It's all bitumen, so if you're towing a van or you got kids and you know they don't want to take on corrugations and rough roads, it's all handed to you on a platter. We are now at the end of the bitumen, ready to cross over Yardie Creek. It is pretty close to high tide, and the creek is tidal, but it looks, we did a little walk up there, and it looks like it's blocked, as in blocked to the ocean, which means we can get through. There's a dude in a 200 series sitting here in the middle of the track. Not sure what that's about. They are walking it to see whether they can get through, I would suspect. Lots of people pulled up here for their little boat launch, I guess. And we're just going straight across the creek. No reason for us to pull up here. We have no boat. These sharp, gnarly rocks are kind of reminiscent of the telegraph line that we came across on. Not liking them. Next stop will be Mildura camping area, where we have a site booked. There are, I think there's about 30 or 32 there, and when I booked, there were 2 left. So this place is still going off post-eclipse, post-epoch eclipse. It's a 1-lane corrugated dirt/sandy track, and there's those migrating budgies again. They're just millions of them. They're all flying south to north. We assume they're migrating anyway, unless they're just getting a buzz flying north. Corrugations aren't too vicious along here, but we do have our tires down to 18 pounds as well, so that absorbs a lot of the ubidas. We are now on a track that is running parallel with the main track. This goes out to Sandy Cape, and on our left is the military, the RAF base. So they've got people locked out of that for obvious reasons, and the track sort of skirts around the edge of the military base. You can tell this is a well-used track when it's got black along the track from the rubber wearing off of people's tires. We are at our camping area at Mildura Point. Not really at the camping area, I guess, but we're heading in that general direction. We have site number 31 booked for the evening. There's dump point back here, there's caravans back here, so it can't be too difficult to get into. We are at our Wirrambandi camp area at the moment, and it is stunning out here. There's our camp right up on the beach. There's Jilly, and we're going to go for a walk down to the tip of the point. The campsite is fully booked out, but the camps are strung out very, very far from one another, which is good. But one word of warning, you must have a chemical toilet here. There's a camp custodian here, I guess you'd call him, and he is very strict on that.
Hello, fly. Ooh, close.
And we're just walking along the beach at the moment. The sun's behind the clouds, and it's perfect temperature. This is the very tippity tip of Wirrambandi Point. I don't know whether the microphone's picking it up, but you can hear the surf out there breaking on the barrier reef. There's Jill out at the tip of the point. There's some dude standing up on the tippity top of a sand dune trying to get mobile phone signal. And there's the campground that runs along the beach for a good couple kilometers.
Hi, little lizard.
Well, we're heading south now. We're heading towards Carnarvon, where we'll do a little bit of recommissioning, and then it's on to Francois Perron and to Dirk Hartog Island. We've now passed into Ningaloo Station, and we've got termite mounds all over the place, which are pretty cool. A lot of the roads that are marked on the map are blocked off or non-existent. So, for example, there is a old whaling station just south of Beacon Point with a road marked to it. It's there, but it's blocked. It's got a bunch of no trespassing signs whacked all over it and a bunch of steel drums in the road. So there's a lot of stuff that's been marked on our Oz Explorer map that are no longer accessible. It is private land, so I guess they can do what they'd like, but just a bit of a bummer that you can't get there.
Some really pretty, weedy looking bush. Like the shape of it and the color of the flowers.
Directly up in front of us is the old lighthouse, which is also on Ningaloo Station. I'll try and see if we can get up there, but I wouldn't be surprised whether that's blocked as well. I can see a gate up in front of us. I suspect we are not going to get up to that lighthouse. And just in case you thought you were, not today. Big ass gate.
Just a view of the coastline. It's stunning. I think Terry's letting a bit of air out of the tires.
We're on a sandy track between Ningaloo Station and Coral Bay at the moment, and it's running right behind the sand dunes. And we've got a dual track in front of us, which is pretty neat. I'd say one was born of people trying to avoid corrugations. It's funny, we haven't seen any animals at all. Like, not even a lizard. No emus, no kangaroos, no camels, nothing. We're on the road between Ningaloo Station and Coral Bay, and we found this two-wheel drive monstrosity up on the side of the road. Somebody did well to get it back here this far.
Movies make me smile.
On an adventure before dementia. They never did learn to spell. 21540 18s My driving scares me too, yeah. That's pretty cool with the termite mounds sort of dotting around the track. I don't know what those little suckers are eating because there's no trees out here. Well, it certainly is blowy and choppy out there. It's far more rough now than it was when we did our whale shark dive a couple of days ago. It was like glass when we were there.
It was like glass yesterday too.
Yes, it was. Let's take a real quick duck out to the coast and have a squiz. Here's these yellow poles again. We saw them once before and I really don't know what they're for.
Markers of some description.
Yeah, they certainly are, but what? That is the question.
Going the wrong way around the roundabout. Feels weird.
We're south of Coral Bay, but not far. Maybe only about 10 kilometers or so. The beautiful sandy beaches have been replaced with gnarly, sharp rocks. Way out there you can still see the waves breaking on the barrier reef, and that's looking back north the way we've come. We're on the Ningaloo Road still, heading south. We're not too far from Coral Bay now. And it looks like we got a dead motor car up here. I suspect probably stolen and dumped out here. What is it? Is it
Looks like a Mitsubishi to me.
Yeah, Mitsubishi, or is it a Jackaroo?
Can't tell.
It is a Jackapoo.
It is a Jackapoo. Gee, you don't see many of those anymore.
No, you don't, do you?
That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking it was a Mitsubishi.
And that is it. We have reached the end of the dirt, and we are going to traverse onto the bitumen.
You need to put air in the tires.
No, we're good. I'll top them up when we get into town, but they'll be fine for this short little run. We will take it out of four-wheel drive, and we will indicate. There are 3 wind turbines in front of us with 2 blades on them. And every wind turbine I've ever seen has got 3 blades. So if somebody can tell me why these only have 2 and all the others have 3, I would be very interested to know that.